Gopala Astrology channel, where the science meets astrology for common man's understanding. Subscribe and stay tuned to this channel for continued astrological updates. Hello, welcome to Gopala Astrology channel. So today it's going to be another very interesting video in Vedic astrology, and it is known as Gaja Kesari Yoga and its effects. So I'm going to talk in detail about the planet Jupiter and Moon's alignment in different positions and what are the positive effects of the position of Jupiter and Moon in these bhavas or the effects. Okay, so we will talk about it in detail, and we will also see some of the examples of people who are already having it and who have become celebrities because of Gaja Kesari Yoga. All right, friends, let's go to the actual video of Gaja Kesari Yoga. In Sanskrit, Gaja means elephant and Kesari means the lion. So it's a great combination of Gaja and Kesari. That is what is going to make the Gaja Kesari Yoga. So how this represents in the planetary form? So we can consider Gaja or the elephant as Jupiter because it's the mightiest of all the planets. And then Moon becomes the Kesari or the lion. So when there is a particular combination of these two great planets in the horoscope, we will see the formation of Gajakesari Yoga. So Moon represents our mind and Jupiter represents our intellect and all good things in our life. All the positive things in our life is seen through Jupiter's position. All right. So now definition again. The Gajakesari Yoga is the most auspicious combination when we see from the position of Moon, the Jupiter is in Kendra Sthana. So what do we mean by Kendra Sthana? It is 1, 4, 7 and 10. So whenever the Jupiter is placed in 1, 4, 7, 10 position from Moon, we say that the Gajakesari Yoga is formed and the beautiful effects of the Jataka will come to the actual person who bears this horoscope. All right, so it can be just understood in this form, Gaja and Kesari. Why the ancient Indian sages called this as Gaja and Kesari Yoga? The reason is that during those ancient times, Gaja having an elephant is going to be having like a Mercedes Benz car or a BMW car, all the comforts the kings used to have, and that is why the name Gaja has come to this yoga. All right, that is all. And then whenever there is a combination of the king of the jungle, lion, and also the mightiest of all the mammals, living mammals, elephant, we say the person becomes very elegant and he will have a tremendous luck in his horoscope. Okay, Gaja is going to give him the tremendous potential capabilities, and he will become a very wise person, and it also increases the longevity of the person's life. All right, whereas Kesari makes the person fearless. People who have this yoga will become very brave, intelligent, fearless, and they can go to a very high position in one's life. And this is all possible by auspicious combination of Jupiter and Moon. So let's try to understand the technicality of this yoga. So if you see this chart, I have given the hypothetical chart of Kala Purusha Kundali, wherein Aries is the first house, all right? So it can be anywhere. I've just taken the typical Aries as the first house, and I'm going to place the Moon and Jupiter. Let us put Jupiter in the zodiac sign of Cancer, where it gets exalted. Now, whenever the Moon comes in the first house, or fourth house itself, seventh house, and 10th house, it becomes a Kendra sthana for Jupiter, and we say that the Jupiter is going to make a Gajakesari Yoga formation with this moon. All right, so if you understand carefully, a sign of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn are known as Chara Rashis. What are Chara Rashis? Those Rashis which are movable signs. So whenever the Jupiter Moon combination happens in the Chara Rashi, there will be a lack of stability in this person because this person is going to be always on travel. Chara means movement. The people who have moon in these movable signs like to go to the foreign countries, they like to travel, they want to move around, and they take full advantage of of Gajakesari Yoga and make excellence in foreign lands. Okay, it also brings enormous amount of wealth to the people who have this. All right, so that is the benefit, but they won't be stable in one's own motherland because of movable sign. All right, let's go to the another case wherein the Gajakesari Yoga is formed in the dual signs. Which are the dual signs? They are mainly Gemini, the Virgo, the Sagittarius, and the Pisces. Gemini is Mithuna Rashi, Virgo is Kanya Rashi, the Sagittarius is Dhanas Rashi, and Pisces is Meena Rashi. So, whenever you have Moon placed in any of these four dual signs, and Jupiter happens to be in 1, 4, 7, 10 from it, we say that this combination happens. Okay, and this makes the person dual natured, and also he can have two sources of income and things like that. He will always be blessed with vehicles and a beautiful bungalow house and things like that. So they will have a very stable life, and they continuously excel in their life from the beginning to their end of life. All right, and they will never have dearth of wealth in any stage of their life. All right, then the combination happens when Jupiter cannot be located in exalted signs. Let us take the example when Jupiter gets debilitated. I have put the same screenshot here, but imagine, let's put the Jupiter in Capricorn, for example, and Moon, let's put in the position of Scorpio. So both of them gets debilitated, or they enter their Nicha sthanam. And even though when they are in the 1, 4, 7, 10 position, if at all they are in debilitation condition, they will not give the Gajakesari Yoga results. All right. So, for this yoga to give the full results, both the dignity of Jupiter and Moon must be in a very good position. Either they should be in a friendly sign, or it should be in its exalted sign, and they give the best results when Jupiter or Moon are there in their own signs. All right, own sign for Jupiter is Sagittarius, and the own sign for Moon is actually Cancer. All right, now let us see the aspect of Gajakesari Yoga in 12 houses. This is the combination that I am going to explain from the Lagna or the Ascendant. Imagine the Gajakesari Yoga is happening in the first house. Okay, it makes the person very intelligent because first house represents the brain. It makes him very smart. Okay, intelligence of the person always excels, and then that person will always tell the truth in his life. Okay, because the brain and the knowledge goes together, and they always like to tell the truth. Now let us see this second house. That means whenever the Gajakesari Yoga happens in the second house from the Lagna, what happens here is the second house represents the money, financial stability. So the person becomes very stable in finance, and they will be very, very family oriented. They do everything for their family, okay, and they always keep priority for their wife or children and things like that. All right, and the next one, if this yoga happens in the third house. So third house is all about hard work, courage, self efforts, and also it represents younger brothers. So the people with this combination always support their younger siblings, either brother or sister, and they will be very, very brave. But financially, they may not be much benefited from Kajakesari Yoga. So you may ask me a question: what do I really mean by Gajakesari Yoga in the third house or first house or second house? See, whenever Jupiter or Moon, which are in Kendra sthanas, are in the first house or second house or third house from Lagna, I am explaining this combination. All right. Now let's put this yoga in the fourth house. What happens? Fourth house is all about comfort, education, vehicles, properties, everything. All these properties and matters related to the home is going to be excelled. The person is going to be very good in education. They will have higher education. The basic degree will be coming in a very meritorious manner. Okay, the people will be highly meritorious. All right. The next combination, what I'm going to tell you, is a very interesting one. When this combination happens in the fifth house, fifth house represents education. The person will always go to the very, very high level of education. It's also called as Vidya Yoga. But unfortunately, please remember, in one of my previous videos, I had explained wherever Jupiter sits, it's going to burn off. See, Jupiter is like candle. It's going to burn that house where it is going to sit, and wherever the light of Jupiter is going, that means the drishti of Jupiter is going, that house will be excelled. So here what is happening, Jupiter is sitting in the fifth house, and it is making a Gajakesari Yoga with moon. So he is going to spoil the fifth house. That means the fifth house is also the karaka for the childbirth. Okay, so this person may have a child which is born very, very late in life, or the person may not have child at all. Okay, this is one disadvantage of having Jupiter in the fifth house and things like that. All right, and unfortunately, when this combination happens in the sixth house, the results may not be so strong, because Jupiter becomes, he's going to become protector there. Jupiter becomes protector, and he forgets his Gajakesari Yoga results. He doesn't give that. Instead, he tries to protect the sixth house of the native. All right, so no much results can be expected in the Gajakesari Yoga of the sixth house. The next one, this yoga, when it is forming in the seventh house, the marriage becomes very, very fruitful. The person marries a wife, or the wife marries her husband, who is going to be very, very cooperative. So always they collaborate each other, they never quarrel, because the mind and the intellect go together. That means the husband and wife will always live harmoniously. All right, so they will have a very great family life. And on the contrary, if this combination is happening again in the eighth house, similar to sixth house, the results will be very poor, because eighth house is about all bad things in life, sudden events, accidents, and all that. So to some extent, it will reduce the accident formation and things like that. But otherwise, the eighth house really doesn't give much results. All right. So the next one is ninth house. Ninth house is called Bhagyasthanam. The person who has Gajakesari Yogam happening in the ninth house will have a very, very good relation with the father. He will have a lot of abroad journeys, and he will be very, very famous in foreign lands as well. And he will be very inclinated towards his religious belief system. For example, if this person is a Hindu, he will be very much oriented towards the Hindu culture. If he is a Christian, he will be a true Christian. And at the same time, if he is a Muslim, he will follow the true Muslim's law, because ninth house represents our belief system. All right. The next one, 10th house. 10th house is all about the profession. Now, what is happening? Gajakesari Yoga goes to the profession. So he will be the boss of one particular institution, and excellent for accounting and banking industry, because Jupiter is also a karaka for finance and money and things like that. So when this goes, the person is going to excel very well in the field of his work, whatever may be the field, but he will achieve the highest managerial position in his job. All right, next one, Gajakesari Yoga, if it happens in the 11th house, this is called the most luckiest person in the world, because it happens very rarely with the people. And 11th house is all about incoming gains in our life and all our network circles. It's going to be a big network circle, and we are going to make a lot of money in life. The money inflow becomes very, very easy for these guys, because sitting in the 11th house, Jupiter straight away aspects the second house of family and money. It also aspects the fifth house, and it is about children. The person with 11th house Jupiter will always safeguard his children and give maximum education for them. And also, it aspects the wife, 7th house, spouse. So, all are benefited. Second house of family, fifth house of children, and also the seventh house of wife, right? And partners again. So this is all about money. Unfortunately, the last combination with the Jupiter in the 12th house will not be very good. It will be same as the Trikbhava houses. What I told you, that is the sixth house, the eighth house, and then the 12th house. These three bhavas, if it is there, even though you have Gajakesari Yoga, you may not benefit from it. All right. Now, let's just summarize whatever I told you about all the 12 houses. If you just take the screenshot of this particular slide, you will understand the whole thing. All right. So I'm just going to put the smiley faces wherever the smiley face you see, the Jupiter and Moon combination is going to give the best results. That is in the first house, second house, fourth house, then seventh, ninth, 10th, 11th, and rest of them are going to be a sad phases. What I'm showing here, that means even though you have a beautiful yoga, you cannot get the full benefit of that in the present life. All right. Summary here is like this. Many clients keep on asking me, okay, sir, I have the Gajakesari Yoga, but when am I going to get benefit? What is that is lacking in my life? I'm still not enjoying it. See, please, you have to be very patient. Please understand the Gajakesari Yoga's full effect can be seen in dashas and antardashas. It's also called bhuktis of both Jupiter and Moon. Whenever you are running through these dashas, the effect will be very good. See, for example, person is running through Rahu dasha, he will be having a lot of tough times. Suddenly, when that changes to Jupiter dasha, he may buy a car, he may get a big job, he may buy a land, and he will be respected. If he's a politician, he may win an election, right? All these transformation is going to happen whenever the dashas and antardashas of that particular Jupiter or Moon is going to come in. All right, the next one, the yoga for marriage, very, very important. The seventh house combination, which I told you, if the Jupiter and Moon are in the seventh house from Lagna, and whenever the Antardasha or Mahadasha of Jupiter or Moon comes, person gets married to a beautiful wife or a husband, right? So the marriage is going to be very successful during that particular time frame. Now we understood that. Let us see the Gajakesari yogas in some of the celebrities I have just handpicked. It is there in many people, and I am very fond of Mr. Narendra Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India. He has got a beautiful Gajakesari yogam. You can understand how it is if you assume that his Lagna. See, there are so many controversies in Narendra Modi's time of birth, but I have just taken this from Google, and I see that the Lagna is Scorpio for Vrishchika Lagna for Modi ji. So when you see the position of Moon, Moon is right there in the first house, and Jupiter goes to the fourth house. So 1 and 4 combination. Fourth house is known as Matrusthanam, and that's the reason why Narendra Modi ji is very fond of his motherland and his mother. She is already 100 years plus, and you can see how carefully he always deals with his mother, and he respects her a lot. And at the same time, he always keeps saying his motherland is the favorite thing for him. Okay, so the fourth house combination of Gajakesari Yogam makes a person very, very patriotic, and that's the typical Narendra Modi for you. All right, and that's one of the reasons why I love Modi ji a lot. Okay, and he is the best prime minister ever India has seen. All right. The next one, you can see some examples in Bollywood. If you see the horoscope of DeepikaPadukone, she is born in Libra ascendant, Tula Lagna, and her moon is also right there in Tula Rashi. And if you see the combination of moon and Jupiter is 1 and 4, and you see the position of Jupiter. Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. I purposefully handpicked this example because Deepika Padukone is the daughter of Prakash Padukone, who was an Indian badminton player. But she was born out of India. That means she was born in Denmark, and she migrated back to India. Why there is a migration for Deepika Padukone? The reason is the fourth house of motherland. For her, the motherland is Denmark, and Jupiter happens to become debilitated. So she has to move out of that motherland and come to foreign land like India. India is the foreign land for Deepika, and she became very famous. And that is why I handpicked this example of Gajakesari Yogam in a Bollywood celebrity who migrated to another country and became very, very famous. All right, let's take the last example for tonight because I'm giving a lot of information for you guys. You need to digest this. Okay, the last example I would like to share is the example of Joe Biden, who is the president of United States. If you see that he's born in Mesha Rashi or the Aries moon sign, and he has got Jupiter exalted. It is there in the best position of Karkataka Rashi or the Cancer, and he is what? He is, look at the position of Ascendant. He is born in Ascendant of Sagittarius, which is the own house of Jupiter, and Jupiter gets exalted. And that's the reason, even though he is a old person, he is in his late 70s, he still got the eligibility to become the president of United States. Yeah, and look at the position, why he had initial struggles in his life. He had eighth house Jupiter, so still the eighth house effect of the Jupiter will be still there, and that's why he had unfortunate incidents happening in his life. He lost his son, unfortunately in a very young age, and he had to remarry, and things like that. He as a single father, single parent, took care of his kids and all that. So why he was successful in the later stage? Why? Because Jupiter in the Karkataka Rashi gives the exaltation results for Joe Biden, and he becomes the number one man of United States for quite a long period of time, right? Because he assumed the position of vice president also during Obama's period, and so 4 years of that and 4 years of presidentship. So that means he is in the presidential roles for 8 long years, and all these good successes were possible to Joe Biden only because of this Gaja Kesari Yoga. All right, so we have come to the end of this video. If you have any questions, please type it in the comment section. Whenever I have time, I will reply back to you. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to this channel and support my videos. I will be doing more and more knowledgeable videos for you shortly. Thank you very much. See you in the next video, guys.